Hi, everyone. I want to take some time today to talk with you, not just our usual pep talk, but a real conversation about some of the things I'm hearing from parents this past week. They're running into struggles. Their plans are unraveling, their kids are resisting, and they're wondering, am I really cut out for this unschooling path? If you've had that thought, let me just say you are not alone. Doubts creep in for all of us. They did for me too, even after years of unschooling. And it's not because you're failing, and it's not because your kids are not capable. It's because this is such a different road than the one you were raised to expect. That's actually why over the years, I've created so many unschooling guides. Because the same worries keep coming up about reading and math and technology or socialization or handling critics. Each guide helps you tackle the fears you're facing and gives you some clarity and some mindset work and practical steps for overcoming it all. And so today I want to talk to you about some of these really common doubts people are having and how you can reframe them. So let's talk about some of the ones that I hear most often. My 7-year-old isn't reading. Or my 10-year-old isn't doing any math. Our brains panic, thinking, what if they fall behind? What if I've messed this up? I was waiting for it to happen naturally, and I'm not seeing anything. Remember, learning doesn't unfold on a school's timetable. It unfolds on your child's timetable. Think about how toddlers learn to walk. Some at 9 months, some at 15 months. We don't panic that one is behind. We trust development. Reading and math are the same. Your 7-year-old who isn't reading yet may be memorizing logos or noticing patterns in Minecraft or using voice to text. Those are all pre-reading skills. Your 10-year-old might not be doing long division, but maybe they're dividing up the cookies or figuring out scores in a game or organizing their Pokemon cards by number. That's math. But because schools conditioned us to only see worksheets and test scores, we miss the progress right in front of us. So I have academic guides for reading and writing and math to help you reframe what's going on and start to see more from an unschooling perspective. They'll give you ideas to keep fueling these early learning stages and remind you that yes, your child is learning. They're not behind and you don't need to rush anything. Another season that parents seem to hit are when everything feels kind of dull. Maybe the kids are bored or they're glued to their devices and you're not sure how to pull them back into connection with you. But remember, boredom is not the enemy. It often pushes kids to stretch into something new. Now, I am not one to say that let kids sit with their boredom. I don't think that. I think notice that as a red flag. They're telling you that a shift is happening. What used to be interesting isn't anymore. Maybe they've outgrown their old stuff, but they don't know what would fit them better. And I know this limbo can feel unnerving for you. Lots of parents worry about the amount of time that their kids want to be on their devices. So I made an entire unschooling guide about technology to help you with this. It doesn't just say limit screens or let it all go. It helps you find the balance to stay aligned with unschooling and still have healthy boundaries that work for you and your home. The trick is to really assess what that means, healthy boundaries in your home. We get so many messages about this, and they're not all accurate. Society historically resists progress, and kids are usually the first to embrace it. Remember all that time people used to say, TV is going to rot your brain? But then we got the Discovery Channel and the History Channel and the Food Network and all kinds of inspiring documentaries. That's the opposite of rotting. The same thing happened with new inventions like the radio or the train or even the pencil. People feared it, but that next generation figured it out. And that's what we're in the middle of right now with all this technology, figuring out how to navigate what works and what's just fear. So that's what the technology guide can help you with. And sometimes what we need is just fresh inspiration. The seasonal guides can help you with that. And we're in autumn now, so this is such a rich time for learning. Apple orchards and pumpkin patches, fall festivals and astronomy nights because the skies are getting darker. But September is almost over. Are there things you want to be sure to do before this season slips away? The autumn guide has ideas you might not even think of, ready for you to pick and choose. And I have guides for all 4 seasons, so you have what you need whenever the next one rolls around. So in addition to these individual topics, each of these guides helps us tackle our fears. And lots of us wonder, why do these doubts keep coming back when we know unschooling works? It's because when things get hard, our brains point us back to what's familiar. And for most of us, that's the school approach. Grades, tests, comparison charts. We were raised to measure progress in a certain way. And when our kids' learning doesn't look like that, our old conditioning whispers, "You're not doing enough. You're going to mess this up." That's why each guide is structured into 3 parts. The first one is in the nest, and it's all about setting the stage in your home and in the community so that the environment supports learning. The next one is all about you and your mindset work. Unpacking your own conditioning, the stuff that's going to trip you up. This is the heavy lifting, but it's the most important part that often gets brushed aside. And then the third part is practical support for your kids, real doable ideas that work. So I didn't make these guides to be fluffy. They're packed with what I've learned from 30 years of talking to other parents just like you. And that's why I put these guides all together in the first place. Over the years, I kept hearing the same worries coming up over and over again about reading or math or technology or socialization. And instead of having ideas spread out all over the place, I decided to gather things together and create these resources that would tackle one idea at a time. So normally, I would just describe the situation and point you to a single guide that could match the challenge that you're probably facing. But lately, I've been hearing from parents that are overwhelmed on all fronts: academic, critics, technology, mindset. It's piling up. And if that's you, you don't want to wait for a one-at-a-time solution. So I decided to pull all the guides together and make them available in a complete toolkit right now. Normally I do this. I run a sale in November around Black Friday. But honestly, that feels too far down the road. Too many parents right now are teetering on the edge. Maybe you've been trying to blend a little unschooling with a little traditional homeschooling, and it's just not working. The kids are rejecting the plans. You feel unappreciated, and while you don't want to send them back to school, you're not sure what to do. It reminded me of a moment with my own kids years ago. We were trying to do that hybrid thing, a little structure, a little freedom, and it completely backfired. The kids hated it. I was frustrated, and nobody was happy. I finally realized if I wanted unschooling to really work, I had to pivot. I had to let go of what wasn't working and lean into something different. So this week, I decided to pivot too. Instead of waiting until November, I've pulled all the unschooling guides into one parenting toolkit, and I'm giving them to you at the Black Friday price right now. Each guide is usually $15 to $20, which isn't bad, but if you bought them all separately and you needed a bunch, that could cost you as much as $400. I don't want you to do that. I want you to buy more season passes and have more money for little road trips, or maybe some more art supplies or science kits. So now, through the end of September, I'm going to do my little Black Friday sale. You can grab all 25 guides for $99. I really don't want you stuck in fear or wasting time scrolling on the internet looking for some kind of curriculum that might work. You need clarity, mindset shifts, and some practical steps that you can rely on right at your fingertips. Here's what I really want you to hear. You are enough. Your kids are learning, even if it doesn't look like what school told you. And whenever you feel shaky, you don't have to retreat back to what's familiar or do some panic-driven curriculum purchase. The parenting toolkit is what you need. 25 guides covering the biggest challenges unschooling parents face: academics, critics, technology, seasonal learning, socialization, stress, so much more. They'll always be available, but you can have this massive savings now through September 30th. Think of it as your $99 rescue toolkit, the thing you can pull out whenever fear creeps in or a new obstacle pops up, because unschooling does work, and you deserve to step into it with clarity and confidence and a little more peace of mind. So grab the toolkit this weekend. The price will go back up next Wednesday, so don't miss out. Remember, Unschooling works. I hope you have a great weekend. You've got this. And I'll see you next time.